What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dig It podcast. I'm your host, Drew Walsh, and today we got Coach Mike Landis of Level Up PD. And this one's gonna be awesome, man. Like, I whenever I bring on people that I have a long history with, I want to give you guys a little bit of insight. Like, Mike Landis is that guy. When you spend a little bit of time with him, whether it be on the phone or you're having a conversation, you leave that conversation like, man, I'm fired up right now. I feel rejuvenated. I got to talk to Mike Landis more. And I'm so excited to get you on in front of our listeners because you have so much knowledge to bring and so much experience within this game, from on the field, off the field, in the front office. And you've come up with some really cool concepts recently that I think the game of baseball, softball, and just youth athletes need you so much. I'm excited to get dive deep into that soon. Coach Mike Landis, welcome to the Dig It podcast.
Hey, I really appreciate it, Drew. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Just a little bit about me. So folks that don't know me, I mean, hopefully a bunch of folks that are watching you have seen me somewhere before. I mean, I'm not
You need to
famous,
post more, man.
I do need to post more. I'm bad at social media.
I don't want to hear the excuses. We'll just be better tomorrow.
Oh man, like it's bad. Like I got other friends like Beatty. I was like, dude, you're terrible. All right, sorry, but just a little bit of background.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. I'm bad at it, and I need to get better at it. So we have a bunch of stuff and a bunch of content that we're going to shoot and put out regularly. That I'm working with my team to do, and I'm excited to have it. But a little bit of background, real quick. I've coached at the collegiate level, at the junior college level, the Division III level. Worked with players of all levels, from the big leagues all the way down to 8 to 10-year-olds with the Little League baseball. I was with the Baseball Factory for 10 years, and then when I left,
that's where we met.
A little over 10 years. Yeah, it's where we met, dude. And as I left there, I was pretty much had a huge hand in running all of their player development events nationally. And planning that stuff up and kind of overseeing what we're teaching, what we're coaching, and what we're seeing. And it's really cool that through the factory, because we're the only ones that do high level or high big scale PD from that middle school range. So like my team and my staff, you included, everyone, we see like thousands of players from 12 to 14 at that really hardcore, like where they're going to be impressionable age of baseball, thousands a year. So we can say like literally, like we can actually go out on limits. Like I scout more 12 to 14-year-olds than anybody else in the country, like me and my staff do at factory events over the past 10 years, because we really put a focus on that age group. And it's been great to do that and be the director of operations there and kind of see the program and work with great guys like you, and then stepping away and trying to run my own thing and help athletes and kind of take away some of my borders and stuff. I'm excited to do it and see what the future brings. But let's talk Dig It. Let's talk what you got for me, man. Like, let's have fun. By the way, congratulations on what you're doing, dude. Like, it's crazy. I see you online. During the pandemic, I told you, I used your training videos to train our athletes.
I'm blushing.
You need to follow this guy on Instagram and look how he takes like the pro move, like your Alec Boehm stuff, like how he's doing, and then like how he puts it in, and then you add a med ball and you're switching feet. I'm like, guys, this is it. Like, this needs to almost be baseball.
Mike
scripture.
Landis is my spirit animal, man. Everyone needs a Mike Landis in their life. So we're going to get into a lot of different things, what you got going on currently, and let's save that. Let's kind of unpack kind of your trajectory and how you got here today. So a few weeks ago, we were just catching up on the phone, and you said something to me that like was just more of like a light bulb. Yes, that encompasses everything these kids are lacking. When I say these kids, I'm referring to the youth, right? The youth athlete, baseball, softball. You said something. You wrote an article for Baseball America. Could you just elaborate, tell our listeners how that kind of happened and the point of it?
Oh yeah, that was a while ago. It was like 2019, I think. And
it's still relevant, more so today.
It was. And what I said as a scout, an evaluator, and a player development guy, I can tell pretty much what I'm going to get from a player with how they run the bases. Pause. And everyone's like, wait, I know.
Pause. All right, we are back in.
Yeah. So again, that's what it is. Like when I'm watching a player play and I watch him get on for it, because it's a controllable. Right? Like you can control your effort on the base paths. It's the selfless part. And actually can be the fun part of baseball. What do you do when you're not? Because it's being preached so much to youths. Like we got to do well when we're catching and throwing, and we have to do well when we're in the batter's box. Right? People don't understand that you can be impacted. What you're doing in the batter's box is impacted by your teammates that are on base. It is like it, and how you. I'm sorry.
Can we unravel like doing good in a batter's box doesn't mean you got to hit though. I think we need to flip, like bring context to that. Like doing well in the batter's box is seeing good pitches, swinging at good pitches, having a good at bat, like a quality at bat. It's not, you can hit the ball hard 10 times in a row and go for 10. You can't control that. All right. But back to the base run. Sorry.
Right. But you're right though. It's controlling what you can in a game. If you walk through, if I'm a scout and I'm watching you play and you walk 3 times, we can't, there's nothing we can do about that. But what do you do when you get 90 feet to the right? What do you do after that fact? Are you taking a great lead? Is your secondary lead on time? Are you focusing? Are you swiping a bag? Are you making this pitcher think about you? When the ball is hit, are you stretching a single from first to third? Kids realize like a base coach is there to tell you to stop. He's not there to tell you to go. You're going 180 feet on a single until you see 2 hands up, right?
Yes.
And let's rewind. I skipped it. Check for your signs. Know what the heck is going on, and then go for it. Right? Find the ball, like the Bozo thing. Like find how many outs there. I know the situation, but at aggressiveness, if a guy stretches from first to third and he's thrown out because he is going balls to the wall, do you know what I'm writing down? I'm not writing down thrown out at third. I'm writing down high effort around the base paths. I'm writing down gives a crap, cares.
Yes, and I'll come back and watch that kid. How about from the home plate to first, coach?
That's a big one too, because those are times we can get that we care about, right? The home the first time is more important than 60 times. You know, most of the scouts, there's a lot of scouts that I'll talk to, big league scouts, because college scouts, you know, everybody, again, I'm on the kill the 60 train. I think it's dumb. I don't see a point in it anymore with these high level athletes. Like, who cares if you can run 180 yards, 180 feet? It's home to second. No, it's not, because you're not running in an arc. Like
I'm not good at math or angles, but they're a little different.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out on it. I'm so out. And like that, the home the first time matters. Like, hey man, he runs a 4-1 home first. This dude flies. Like, okay. So how hard you are out of the box? How hard you're, because what that does is it forces a defense to speed themselves up, right? Even if it's an easy, gingerly hit ground ball to shortstop or second base, right? That second baseman is fielding it deep. He thinks he's got that little quick, and you're balling down the baseline, and he speeds himself up. That's how you force a mistake, or that's how you send a message next time. I need to speed myself up because this dude's a dude. He's balling. And your coaches, and this, I know that when you can control what you can control, you're going to give me max effort, right? Your singles you're taking a real turnaround first base, a real one, looking to get to second base, getting a third of the way or a fourth of the way down that baseline to second base and coming back. Scoring, it's just so important. And I can tell like right away. And I'm telling you, now there's some kids that have bad days and dog it a little bit, fine, whatever. And being at events with the factory for multiple days, we can get to the bottom of that. But I pose this question to kids. What if it's the only time you're going to get seen? We can't afford to dog it because it might be the only time someone sees, right? And it's really easy to draw a straight line through your name and cross you off, then circle you. And then a circle takes longer. So they're looking to narrow. That's a problem with scouts too. We have that. I get baseball's rough. Like, they're looking to eliminate, not to identify, right? If I'm going to go see 1,000 players, I got to get to 40 guys like we do in the All-American game. We got to get to 40. Well, let's easily filter through and eliminate some guys really quickly. And that's the first way to do it.
And,
right?
and hey, that's life though, right? Like, I got someone who comes to work on time versus not. I got someone who comes to work with a smile versus not. All those things are controllable. Back to the point, like, yo, coach is not saying you need to run a 3.5 down the first baseline, because that might not be in your control. That's just God-given.
Right.
But what he is asking you to do is run as hard as you can. Like, whatever 100% is to you, you have to give that, because that's what you control. Players, scouts, college coaches, recruiters, understand, like, they're going to come see you maybe for the first and last time. And you should approach every practice game like someone's watching you for the first and last time. And what type of impression do you want them to leave with? We say it to our players all the time because it's something you can control. There's only so much we can control skill-wise and game and strategy, right?
Mhm.
But that's the stuff, man. Like, every coach comes back to saying it, and I know it's annoying for some players to hear. There's a reason, though, that these coaches are saying it. It's really easy to do. It's really easy not to do. Like, make the decision, right? You have a choice there. Coach, I love that. And like, I just think it's more the mentality. Like, you see a kid give a hard 90, I'm gonna follow that kid. Like, that kid probably takes pride in his defense. He probably takes pride when they're up 10 runs, he still wants a good at bat. Down 10 runs, probably still wants to have a good at bat. It's a different level of mindset and approach to the game that a lot of people want to have around. So get your foot in the door any way you can. It's competitive out there. Do stuff like this to help you shine. Coach,
Absolutely. Mhm.
anything on that?
No, no, that I mean, hit the nail on the head. Just be better at it. Just not even be better. Just give the effort because it matters. Here's one thing: it matters because we start baseball on a small diamond, right? Where 200-foot pop ups that are caught by shortstops on the big field, right, are home runs, right? And guys are like, well, Big Poppy has that quote, I don't have to be fast to jog to second, but that's Big Poppy. He
Big
can do
Poppy's
that.
different. He's
He's
different,
different.
man.
He's real different, right? He's real different. I don't know. I mean,
Yes.
14-year-olds I know that are banging baseballs at a Fenway at will, right? But it's just something that it means you care and you're locked in. And that's something that you can control. And I can only scout players and identify players who do well or how they react with the things they can control. You know what I mean? And you said
I
earlier, like a
love
missile
that.
and someone catches it. Yeah, it is what it is. Right.
We got to start, like, you got to throw roses to that kid, that girl. Like, you got to throw. That's a great at bat. Hey, great job, great job. Like, that's a win. Like, you can't go to the dugout and slam your helmet because you got out, because that's selfish, right? So, Coach, how long have you been affiliated with the Under Armour All-American baseball game? How many years you
Ooh,
been?
so affiliated with it 2015 to now. And then it was like progressive, like getting up through the ranks. My first year that I coached on field was in 2019. And then I've managed one of the teams 2020, 21, 22. This will be my fourth year managing one of those teams in the Baseball Factory Under Armour All-American game,
So
whatever it's called.
special.
And
So
it's
you're working with
it's
some of
awesome.
the yes, you're working with the top 40 players in the country. So
Mhm.
what more of a approach mindset? Like, they're obviously pretty skilled. They wouldn't be there if they weren't. What are some non-tangible things that most of those guys bring to the table and that you've seen kind of go through the ranks into the pro level? Like, what are some things that stand out to you about them as a athlete person?
So athlete person go. I'm glad you specified because again, from a tool set and metric standpoint, it's special,
Right.
right? Like I mean, we've seen like Drew Jones last couple, 2 years ago, Elijah Green is like, God, he looks like an NFL tight end right now. Like, I mean, it's these guys are different. Bobby Wood Jr. was the best high school player I've ever seen. It unreal. Termar Johnson, guys like that, the best left-hand hitter I've ever seen in high school, period. So super athletic guys. They're all athletic. And here's what they do. They carry themselves with confidence, right? That's one thing that they do. Like, that they're confident because they know they can't control certain things, right? They understand completely that this game is hard. And yes, they make it look easy, but it's hard. It's hard. So why am I going to make the easy stuff harder? The running, going balls to the wall, stretching a single into a double, right? Gaining an extra. I mean, these dudes go absolute ham in this game. Like I watched Tamar a couple of years ago. It was on. I don't know if anybody saw it. You can look it up on YouTube. The game. Fast forward. I think it's from sometime around the sixth, seventh inning. He goes balls out, dives into third base like to stretch a single into to get from first to third, and like dives so hard that his Gatorade like came up to his nose. I mean, he is worn out.
I gotta
And
check
you
that
look at that
out.
and you say, and this is the fourth pick in the draft, right? And this guy, the Pirates, I believe he was fourth, whenever the Pirates picked that year. And you look at it, you're like, that dude just went sell out for 19 other dudes he doesn't really know, right? Just absolutely sold out for it. They don't make the stuff that comes easy, showing up on time, wearing a belt, tying your shoes properly, being ready, being prepared. They don't let that fall by the wayside because they control it because they know how hard it is. Because yes, they're amazing, but they're always playing against amazing talent too. right? So every at bat that Elijah Green took for the FTB Phillies or whatever high level travel team these guys are playing for it, Lake Point, I'm thinking that's right. Wherever the PG is, wherever this is, wherever that is, like it, whatever it is, right? The they're seeing 90 plus every day at the PDP program in Florida, right? The USA PDP. When they're playing for the 18U Gold team, playing against the best in the world, right? They're always seeing difficult, just like a big leaguer. They're always seeing difficult because these guys are all going to end up being the big leagues, most of them, right? But Bichette was in our game in 2015. We got to make the easy stuff. We got to keep the easy stuff easy and consistent, which again, effort level. Being able to play catch, they play catch great. They can play catch really, really well, right? Like because that's stuff they do.
Pretty
every
important
day.
for baseball,
Easy.
softball, huh?
It's extremely. You have a glove in your hand right now, and you're not. There's not even a baseball coming at, but you got feel. You're creating feel.
I got you.
It's crazy, and that's what they do. They are athletes. They run. They just run in straight lines really well. Like they can change directions really well. They move really well. They watch what they eat really well, right? Like these guys absolutely take care of the things and they control what they can at the highest level. So they're able to just let their talent kind of go and their potential kind of increase. With young players, we see this like, I'm going to go crush a Big Mac between games. I'm going to go do this because, oh, it's young, I have time. That's a terrible way to look at it. Yeah, you have time. You always have time. But it's like, yeah, they just make the easy things look easy. Like, I don't have to worry about these guys. We put them out there. Like, I know they're going to give us everything. So we're going to try to create an experience that separates them. What's going to separate this guy? Right?
I love that.
There's a,
and
you know,
what do you got, Coach?
they're just going to let the separators show. Not, every single dude there can run as best as possible. All the catchers are like 98 with paint. Like, it's no problem. Right? They're going to block stuff, throw stuff. When you go out there, our pro style workout that's there, and this year the game's in Texas and at Globe, and you look at it, you're like, dude, that workout is electric. They bring energy all the time. That's also great. That vibe. That vibe. You get it.
It's crazy at that level
of that LIU Brooklyn like dugout vibe, like they always.
Oh, don't even get me going, Coach. I'm already on my third coffee. I don't need to hear all that. But think about like those guys are the elite of the elite, right? And I think what a lot of peers or spectators or youth players will look up to those guys, or even parents will just be like, they're just so gifted, right? They're just so gifted. They're just so talented that it's all God gift. No. That's just a deflection for you not to have to do those little things. Tie your shoe, run hard, dive hard, take the extra reps. That's all a deflection because you're scared to put 2 feet on the other side and just go. Because if you give it all you have and you fail, right, then you failed. But I think that couldn't be more than like farther from the truth of being just super awesome that you went after it and failed and you gave it everything you had. Too many kids will just deflect it and say, they're just really talented. That's why. Yeah, they are really talented. But they do a lot of the little things really well. With that being said, Coach, is there anything you've watched a player who's incredibly talented that you're like, ooh, I don't know if this kid's going to have a long future?
Ooh, that's a good question because we see it a lot. You know what I mean? Because a lot of it is always there's roadblocks you can't get by. And like you just said the deflecting piece. A lot of kids are talented, right? The best players, a 16-year-old's a 16-year-old's a 16-year-old, right? We always talk about up here, and I'm right outside DC in Maryland, and everyone's like, oh man, these Florida kids ball out. They're 15-year-olds like you are. It's the same thing. They're not more or less athletic. They're just more experienced because they work harder, right? And the players that tend to not live up to the expectations are the ones that try to. There's 2 types. There's the ones that make excuses for all their shortcomings, right? And they blame others for, not working enough. If you want to be good at this game, by the way, you need to work. And what your travel ball team or even working with Coach Drew, you need to do more. Like you have to always think, I'm going to do more and I'm going to develop a love for it. So there's 3 things now, the love part. So 1, they deflect and they make excuses for their shortcomings.
Not taking accountability. Right? Got it.
Not taking accountability. Right. Not taking accountability. 2, not loving it. There's a lot of very talented players that do it that just don't love this game, whether they're burnt out from being overly worked as a youth, or they're just not into it, or they get to high school and they like football, or they like basketball, or they like something else. So they're going to gain athleticism, but they're just not that sold on the game. That's a big piece. You have to love this thing to want to be good at it. You
You
got to
fail
really
all the
enjoy
time.
doing this,
You
right?
sacrifice a lot of
And you can't,
weekends.
right? And then the other one is delusions of grandeur, right? So the players say, and luckily my buddy Beta, if anybody here doesn't follow CJ Beta, I hate to plug another human being on here, but he's amazing. Go look at the
We got to
last
get
post
him
he
on.
talked.
We're trying to get him on here.
We
We'll
got
get
to
him
get
on
him on,
soon.
dude. You think I leave you fired up? This just makes me want to run through a wall, bro. It's
I know.
crazy.
I got to prep for this.
He matches my energy. It's unbelievable. Like you're gonna, if we're in the same room, just leave. You'll hear us like down the street, right? So, and it's like when kids, the delusions of grandeur, meaning we're afraid that our best is only going to be a Division III player. They're terrified, fear. Man, what if the best player you could humanly possibly be? You're a JUCO bandit, then goes to a D3 school, gets a great degree, and does this. They feel like they failed and they're salty about it. Or my best was only a backup at UCSD or whatever it may be. And you're like, it's that fear factor where they don't make it because they're always like, well, had I done this, I would have made it. And then the problem now is as baseball's being marketed, you're looking at social media all the time and it get those 90 miles an hour and I can do that. And they just think it's going to happen, right? Delusions of grandeur. Oh, Adam Wainwright right now is striking dudes out with an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. We used to throw 96. He learned how to pitch. So I throw 92. Wayno's throwing 87. I got this.
Do you, though?
Bro, you're 16. No, that's what I'm saying. You're 16 years old. You don't have it. Now, I'm not saying you're never going to get it, but don't just expect it to happen. They're entitled. They expect like, oh, because my metrics are good and I'm big, I'm 6'3" and chiseled up and I hit a home run once, and I'm going to be able to hit a home run in the big leagues.
Coach, we're on to something here. Metrics. You said the M word. Metrics. They're amazing. I think there's a lot of good things that come of them. But I also, what good comes bad, always. That's life. But I think, man, like, it's almost like that mental masturbation where, like, I throw hard, I hit the ball far or hard off the bat, I throw the ball hard, I throw 96 across the diamond. And can you play the game fast? Can you deal with failure?
Right.
Can you be a good teammate? Can you fit to our style of play? If not, okay, next along the million line of talented individuals behind you. So metrics are amazing. I just think like, metrics don't always transfer. And we're talking about a lot of the reasons why they don't transfer, and people don't want to hear it. Right.
Exactly. And, being with the factory for so long, we do the raw exit velo for years, and we do it off a tee because I've seen guys 100 miles an hour, 85. So for people who don't know, the average high school player should be hitting the ball 82 to 83 miles an hour of exit velo. That's average in the country. So a guy will come up on a tee and bang 192. You're like, okay, got some juice. Gets into live BP, can't barrel a thing. So the first swing right doesn't translate, but we use that, and they're like, oh, I bang. And they put the tee there. Let me get this special bat for my exit velo, and it's not this. And metrics do matter because they kind of put you into a realm of where you could be, right? So if you imagine like stacking like a bunch of squares, like a Venn diagram stacking, like if you're throwing 90 plus and you're doing this, it might put you at a Division I level of an athlete, because metrics do give us a good idea how your body can move. Or now there's always issues, but then there's that gray area right below it to Division II, right? Where a dude's got all the metrics, D1 metrics, but he can't figure it out. So he falls into this gray area, which means D2, right? And then you have the D2 guys that have D2 metrics, which are close, but they're ballers, and it puts them into the gray area that gets them up into D1 or pro ball.
Yes.
And there's tons of shades of gray. And then there's also players that are here when they graduate high school, who they finally hit a growth spurt in college at the D3 level, and they end up here, and they get drafted or popped out of a D3 school because they can play the game. Now, it's funny you say that, and with the metrics, because they matter, right? Like I can't have a kid come up to me like, hey, I max out, pull down 82 miles an hour, I'm gonna go play D1 ball. Like, it's gonna be hard, right? I'm never gonna tell the guy you can't do it, but it's gonna be real hard. But you can be an amazing Division III player. You can really enjoy your career. It's just everybody's terrified of when their expiration date is. They're terrified. Oh man, because I don't think kids understand that if you do get to play in college, how rare that is. It's actually rare to do. You know what I'm saying? It takes a long time, and I've been guilty of it. I only played a couple of years of JUCO ball, right? And it was, did I pull the, oh, if I didn't get hurt, I'd be better than this. If I didn't get it, if I did better in the classroom, would I be a D1 guy? Maybe, right? I always play these what ifs, but as I work through this and coach, I'm like, you know what though? I played with a lot of really good baseball players, and I learned everything that I need to know about the game in those 2.5 years that I played it at JUCO to be able to then formulate it and kind of become the guy that you're talking to now. So kids also don't realize it. I've been blessed enough to wear pants for 30 years, baseball pants, right? I get to wear them all the time. And Nelly, do you remember Nelly North?
Yeah,
He
of
said that, like
course.
Brady's dad. He goes, "I'm the luckiest guy on earth because I'm 50." However, hey, he's got a great talk too. Oh, it's 3-day speech, and he was like, "I get to wear baseball pants still every day. None of the dudes I play with do. I'm still in uniform, whether it's a coach or not. So this game, we're afraid is we feel that all the glory comes from playing the game. When I mean, for some it might, but that's such a big deal, like because they're being sold on metrics. Come and see how hard you throw. Come and see how you train here. Come see how you do this. We're living behind monitors, and it's all good and well and important if someone can take the information, create a plan with it, do what you need to do, and learn how to play this game, dude. Because there's always going to be time for ballers because ballers have more fun. Guys that ball out have more fun. They do. That's why we did, where you're from in your area. Like when I was at Hood College building that program, the D3 program, we started like,
I
we
love
got to
the
make sure
Hood
we
College.
always, he'd love it. It's so funny. The Hood Blazers, man, they're killing it. They've had a couple down years, but they were like, once we left, like they went to 2 straight conference title games.
You're gonna tell me they didn't
And
have
what it
fun?
was, they had so much fun because we always made sure we got guys from like New York and Jersey because you guys always play with the little red ass because I knew I was going to get
You
ballers. I
got
knew we were
to.
going
You
to get
got
guys
that. We had
that
to.
played hard.
We
You're going to get
competed.
guys that you compete exactly. So it's like, and coaches will ask, well, how do I get my kids to get away from the metrics and teach them how to compete at practice? Run the
Don't give
bases
them
hard.
second place, third base. Challenge them. Like make
That's
them learn
something
how
I
to
came up
lose.
with Talmadge at practice. We scored it at some PD events. We would have our scrimmage games weren't based on runs scored, they were based on total bases. That's how we did the game. It was, hey,
That's a
you guys each
whole
have
nother
12 minutes and you
perspective.
hit, and it's total bases. We'd have a guy there just tallying how many bases. The total bases are how we're going to schedule, or how we're going to decide who wins this scrimmage game. Instead of just playing like a coach pitch sim game, it was the same thing, but it was total bases was the score.
And that I freaking love that. And we're before because I know you got a couple meetings. I want to make sure we tie this back. Like you got a really cool thing going on right now. I want you to talk about a little bit of level up. What do you got going on? Tell our listeners about it. You're going to be back on for part 2, 3, and 8, so it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah,
But
we haven't
rock it.
touched the defense yet.
Let's I know
We
it's a
haven't even
defensive podcast. It
touched the
always works like
defense.
that because there's just so much before we get to the skill of it. But here we go. Like I know about it. I love it. I think there's a massive gap between think about like the middle school, high school athlete who, you're going through all these emotions. There's a lot of there is a lot of pressure, right? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's too much, sometimes it's not enough. And it's a scary process to go through the recruiting process, to find travel ball teams, to deal with situations in travel ball with coaching dynamics you aren't aware of. So talk to me, Coach Mike Landis.
All right, so yeah, what we're doing at Level Up is advocating for individual players and being there. So you imagine if you're an actor, right? You have an agent and you have a manager. The manager's responsible for your mental health and doing the things that you need to do, mentorship, finding opportunities for you, helping you make decisions, right? So we're taking that on with baseball players, right? Now, more so the high school baseball players and on. We have a couple guys that are already committed. We have a couple guys that are draft worthy. We have guys that are looking for D3 opportunities. But with baseball now and being in the marketing to the family, to the amateur player business for so long, there's so much information out there, and it head spin. Do we? And a big question: do we play on the B team to play shortstop, or play on the A team to be the backup shortstop and play a lot of second base? What do we do? I don't know. Where do we spend this money? What do we do? I don't know. We're trying to do all this. My son's stressed out. He's 15 and he's stressed. He shouldn't be because he's not even an adult yet.
It's
And
15. It's
so you're
15.
looking at this. All right, he's 15, and we're there to help take that player. So basically what the program is, guys come in, we're with them intensively for a few months. We'll come out to them if we need to, if they're not in the area, and sit there, meet them, meet their family, understand the dynamic, understand everything that's there, and be their advocate and be their shoulder. We'll help develop a player development plan. We'll help hook them up with a guy like you, right? If they're in your area, hey, you got to go train with Coach Drew. You take care of him, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to start monitoring it. But then we're also there, hey, we just got an invite for this, and help to create a proper roadmap for each kid and each family. And also talking about mental health, leadership consulting, making them accountable to the things they can control in the classroom, in life. And if your coach is telling you that you need to run it out hard at first base, your parents are probably complaining about your room. Or your teacher's probably complaining about you forgetting your homework or something. It leaches out into everything. Very rarely do I see a kid that is an absolute baller, plays hard, does this, and has a 4.0, and his parents think he's an outstanding human being. He's not messing with it. But those dudes are playing for me in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So there's a way to create that consistency, and then we also help them turn their passions into realities. Right? We understand that there's a world outside of baseball that each kid has to be empowered to have success in as well. Every person that folks are patronizing or paying for baseball expect a baseball return. We're in the business of life return, right? If your son wants to do X, Y, and Z, and he's interested in photography, you're interested in becoming a creator, interested in teaching or helping, we can help them find ways to give back and find ways to start little small businesses to help alleviate some of the costs of this. Right? Kids act like they can't work at 16.
Yeah. I had a paper out. I was selling lemonade.
Yeah, right.
I was shoveling snow at
I was
like
busting
12 years
tables
old,
at
11
Outback,
years
dude.
old.
Like, exactly.
Come
So that's kind
on.
of what we do. We sit with that family for 10 weeks intensively or longer, whatever it needs to be. And we say, after all this information, this is your roadmap. And I can help you get into college and make calls with our network. Or here's the roadmap. I'm here to check on you. We have leadership calls moving forward to make sure that they're empowered and the family's empowered to invest properly, invest smartly with the financial obligations to build a great baseball player. And also we're there to help the families keep that strong bond and not let families get destroyed by those delusions of grandeur. I spent all this money, Johnny, for you to get X, Y, and Z and be this good, and you're just not. People don't realize how hard this game is. And when this game gets harder and you start to farm it leaches out and makes the rest of your life harder. When baseball, even for a Hall of Famer, only lasts until a guy is about 38 to 40 years old, if you think about it. You have a lot of life to live after that. We're there to keep you strong and healthy and do those things for you so that you're empowered to be better when your expiration date hits. And for most, it's 20 years old. You know what I mean? It's in college. It's in this. Finding NIL money. Doing whatever that player needs to create a whole athlete, a student athlete, and create that mental health aspect and just be there. Be their guy. Everybody wants a guy, right?
Need a guy.
Right?
Especially need a guy like Coach Mike Landis.
Right. You need brakes. Hey, man, I got a guy. Like, you need this. I got a guy. You need a new roof. I got a guy. Right? Oh, I got this baseball stuff going on. Oh, I got a guy. And it's someone that's there to help the family and help the player and be empowered to understand that they're the most important thing. Colleges need you. You don't need them. Right? Right?
I love
Baseball
it.
needs players or there's no game, man.
And it was so cool to hear about, like, you're helping players out. Like a kid loved photography, started taking photos for his high school travel teams and high school like sports, and was making good money doing something he liked. Like, that just takes a lot of pressure away from you having to be a D1 athlete. And which is so cool because I hear from a lot of parents who are going through this process, and you also help travel organization teams out. Like, you don't just have to work with one person. You could be a liaison for teams going through this roadmap. Like, I don't teach pitching. I know what I know, and I stay in that lane. I don't know recruiting that well from your standpoint. I could recruit a kid talent-wise, but you wore so many hats and you've been on the ground at so many different levels, man. Like, you've seen this story. It's almost like this kid going from an 8-year-old all the way to an All-American. You've seen every level and you understand what it takes to progress and be realistic about where your roadmap could lead to.
And that's the important thing, is just maintaining honesty, right? And understanding, we always think if you're being sold on something, and it's It's not the case. Like we're new, we're early. Like the website isn't even right. We are early in these early phases, and our early families are helping us build this product, through feedback, poignant feedback. I have a history in corporate sales as well. It's like feedback is everything. And making decisions that's best for our clients is more important than me making the next dollar, right? It's just that much more important. And the problem is now with baseball is we're trying to monetize amateur athletes. It's not like when you and I came up, right? It's little league, all stars, and it was high school. It was, well, you're a little younger than me, but it was Legion, and then that's like it. There was no travel ball.
I didn't
Travel ball
play
didn't
travel
show.
ball until I was like in high school.
Me too. I didn't play travel ball until I was a junior in high school. So did I ever go away for a tournament? Because it didn't matter. Like it wasn't there.
Right.
It wasn't there. There were a couple teams every now and again, like regionally, but it wasn't there. And now it's like everybody and their mother. And I'm saying, and if travel ball coaches if this ruffle feathers, I'm sorry. Everybody wants to make a baseball business. And the easiest way to do that is to create travel ball teams. Look at some of the money some of these dudes are making with 24 teams. Each kid's paying 3Gs a year. That's a lot of cash. That's a lot of cash.
A lot of money. I'm not good at math.
A lot of money. But hey, do you got a guy, travel ball guy? Do you have a network? Do you know how are we going to get your guys better? And that's what we're there to help them do. We're here to also hold them accountable, like business consultants technically. Get in here. I'm gonna hold you accountable. What are you doing with your players? Do you have a leadership guy coming in to talking to them about those controllables and the effort level? Right? Are you doing little small camps so they don't have to go spend thousands of dollars elsewhere when you can spend a couple hundred to bring out Drew to do an infield talk? What are you doing as an organization to strengthen your players and create a wholesome, mentally healthy student athlete? What are you doing? Because the most dangerous word in all of sports right now, especially baseball, is exposure. Parents will pay for exposure. Everybody will pay for exposure, right? Whether they're ready or not. And that's the one thing coach can say, I can get you exposure. We're going to go to the best tournaments, get you exposure, get you this, get you that. Look up all the new rules, please. There ain't gonna be a whole lot of coaches coming to everything anymore, right? Look at the new rules.
What do you want to expose? That you're a 5'7" down the line, that your exit velo 61? Like, you got to work on that stuff.
How do you position your players? Parents, you need to start asking your coaches and travel coaches, what's the plan to position my player to get great opportunities? And then you change that. It's just changing vocabulary, it's changing words. Instead of exposure, it's positioning. Well, he's a second baseman who does this and this and this, and he's probably going to be a D3 guy. So we need to position him with D3 coaches. So maybe we need to go to here, here, and here, right? Or you do other things to create what's going to be best for your son. And moms, dads, players, I'll leave you with this. Please be honest and don't lie to yourself. Own who you are. It is absolutely a beautiful thing, right? If you're a great infielder like me, I had the worst arm on earth. It was bad. I wouldn't honestly, I had a Division I bat to ball, right? I had a D2 glove, right? Whatever. I had a bunch of mix, but my arm was a D58. Bad arm. No bueno arm, right? Throw ball across diamonds. Coach is like, nah, you're going to second base, homie. Like, that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like a bad arm. No bueno arm. I could bang, but no bueno arm, right? So you look at it, but I own that. You got to own it and laugh at it. Like, I got to try to improve that or get quicker or overcompensate like the way David Eckstein did. I got to be lightning. How can I get this arm to play? How can I make my tools play? And you need to find guys like yourself, Drew, myself, anyone else, CJ Beatty, Mike Austin, all these plethora of guys that we know. And you need to find a way to position what you do really, really well to create your opportunities, right? If you're a great biochemist, you're not going to go try to get a sales job selling cell phones, man. It isn't what you're going to do, right? So if you're 5'6" and you're mid-80s and everything, like, let's not go try to play at UCLA. Right? It's not what they're looking for. I'm not going to say you can't be a great baseball player, but I'm saying be where you are, be where your feet are, get better there. And that's what we're here to help families recognize and keep them where their feet are, right? And understand that this is not a game of failure. That's just what people put on t-shirts and bumper stickers so you don't cry. It's not a game of failure. It's a game of managing our successes. It's what it is.
Oh, that is a whole, that's a whole nother podcast. Whoa.
Whole nother one. I'm gonna be back because I love you.
Wow,
I love
this game. It's not a game of failure. It's a game of managing your successes. Whoa. You just flipped the narrative completely.
Maximizing opportunities.
On how we perceive this game. Even myself, because I'm a big, it's a game of failures, 3 out of 10, whole deal. It sounds good. It helps build or reinforce what I want to tell people. But wait, we're gonna come back with that. That's a whole nother. I love that, Coach. And listen, I know you got to run. You will be back very
Of course I will.
shortly. Thank you so much for your time. I want to say,
Absolutely,
like,
dude.
where
Thanks for
can
having me,
my
man.
listeners come find you? But you're like dormant on Instagram. Should they lift up a rock?
Promise. If
Should they lift up a
no,
rock
I
and go
promise.
get you?
Yeah, they need to like burrow somewhere. But they can just follow me strictly on my Instagram handle, and I promise, guys. I was like, I will start to post, and I promised Bezos like I would start to post. I was like,
This
guys,
is
I
public,
promise.
by the way. This is going to be
I
public.
will.
So
I
you
know.
said it. Be accountable.
I know. I did
Manage
that.
your successes.
And
also,
yeah, it's just Mike_Landis is my personal Instagram. That's where I put a lot of my stuff. But I will start plugging like where to follow me from there. The Level Up Baseball does have a page.
cool.
It just has nothing on it yet because I didn't know how to attack this without seeming like I'm just another creator trying to. I want to make sure that there's a connection with all the folks that we've met, and the fact that I'm still being genuinely me, right, and being player first and player centric and game first and game centric, trying to understand and sort through all the BS. And I didn't want to get into any online arguments with troll. I mean, because that's another thing. Like guys are
you got trolls all the time.
create
So
their
what?
fame by negging everyone. I know.
I just say have a better day tomorrow.
I know. I love it. And I need to be
because
again. You're just like the fifth guy that's
get
like,
it out
bro,
there.
you suck.
Get
like,
out there. Get out there. We're arguing on live now. We're arguing. You better get on there.
Mike_Landis is my Instagram page, and I promise you guys, I will start posting starting tomorrow. I'll put out a post. You can call me out if I don't. I'll put something out or something on my something on my story. Tomorrow is June 1st. I will post something.
Oh, you said tomorrow? Okay.
Tomorrow.
All right, tomorrow.
I will post something.
June 2nd.
I will post something by tomorrow. Whether it's something from Beatty or something, I will start to
whatever. It could be
to be more interactive online. Yeah.
Anything. Love it.
Anything.
Coach, you are honestly a pleasure, and I'm so happy we crossed paths and we still have this relationship, and I can't wait to continue to get you in front of our audience because I think the world of you. I would send my son. You'll be my son's guy, my daughter's guy. And look forward to having you back on a second time. Thank you so much for your time, Coach Landis.
Drew, thank you so much, man. Hey. Congrats on all your success, bro. You're killing it, dude. The gloves, dig it, the whole nine. Like I can't wait to talk about those things.
You've been a big part of this. You've been a big part of this. Later, my man.
All right, brother. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.